Alright, this is the third video in the version 1.1 Memory of Chaos, and we'll be taking on this third fight with Fire Trailblazer, Hook, Asta, and QQ. Second team is going to be Herta, Tingyun, Dunhong, and March 7th. So, we'll give ourselves a tile here, and then give ourselves a shield, and we're going to break with Hook. We're going to attack the right enemy first, just because it is a longer fight, so it's easier to save a turn here if you're planning to do any reset maneuvers. So let's quickly go over the Frigid Prowler's pattern. This boss has a 3-turn attack pattern with 2 attacks per turn, and it's a little complicated, so I'll try to explain it as best I can. So for the first turn, the boss uses Summon Otherling, which summons 2 Everwinter Shade Walkers. If there's already summons on the field, the boss replaces this with Icewheel Fist, which is just a single target ice attack. He follows this up with Frozen Storm, which deals ice damage to all targets with a high chance to inflict deep freeze. So for the second turn, the boss starts out with Icewheel Fist, which is an ice single target attack, then follows up with Devour Otherling, which devours 1 Everwinter Shadewalker to increase attack and locks onto a single target. If there are no Shadewalkers on the field, the boss gets defense broken and the pattern resets. And then if it did devour an Otherling for turn 3, it will use Icewheel Crusher, which is an ice damage single target attack with a high chance of inflicting deep freeze, and it will hit very hard because it has that attack buff from the previous turn. And then if there's no Shadewalkers on the field, it will use Summon Otherling, otherwise it will use Frozen Storm. This basically replaces turn 1. So if you weakness break the boss at any point throughout the pattern, it resets the pattern from turn 1, so there is plenty of ways to avoid that Icewheel Crusher attack. Okay, so the boss is going to summon some minions here. So now we'll get our enhanced basic here so that we can quantum break the boss, which means they'll be entangled. And every time an enemy takes damage while entangled, they get a stack, which increases the damage they take when they take their next action. It's just a really good thing to take advantage of. So we don't want to kill the minions yet because we want the boss to suffer from the defense break. So we're just gonna allow them to live until it takes its next turn, which is now. So when the boss takes its next action, it's going to get defense broken. Actually, we'll use Asta's skill here so she moves before the end of the action. Alright. And there's the 50% defense break. We can probably kill here now. Ah, so close. That sucks. Okay, well, we still saved a cycle, but we did needlessly waste an alt. So let's quickly go over the Ice Out of Spaces pattern. This is a very simple pattern because it just has the first turn to set up, and then it just repeats the same 2 attacks in a single turn until it is weakness broken. So the setup turn is Chilling Lament. This deals minor ice damage to a single target, so it's not too scary. But when it is in the freezing point state and the target is frozen, it deals a lot more damage, so it's something to look out for if it ever gets past its second turn. After this, it follows it up with Frosty Absorption, which enters the freezing point state, and it can now use its main attacks. So, the main loop, it starts out with Everwinter Rain. This is a minor AoE attack, but it does have a chance to freeze the targets, which makes its next attack, Chilling Lament, all the more dangerous, because again, it deals more damage when the target is currently frozen and it is in its freezing point state. So basically just weakness break this boss, and then you're only going to have to deal with that setup turn where it does a single target attack and pretty much don't have to worry about any damage from it for the rest of the fight. Okay, so let's hit the boss now. We'll use QQ's ultimate here, bring it low enough where she can kill with her next attack and quantum entangle it. So now we just need to do as much damage as we can before the boss takes its next action.
Give these trailblazers your blessing. Lance ablaze. Lance forward.
I don't think we're killing by the end of this cycle, but I do feel we'll definitely kill by the end of the next one. Yeah, Hook doesn't even move at the end of this cycle. Oh, actually. Huh. Yeah, so that's the entanglement damage. I have a really good time, if I'm being honest. I think that's the fastest I've done this. So we'll use Herda's skill here, because she does all of her damage in the first turn, so that attack buff for the first 2 turns is really good for her. So let's quickly go over the pattern for the Shapeshifter. It's pretty simple, but he does have some one-time uses on turns 1 and 5, so I'll quickly go over those now. For turns 1 and 5, it will go Thundershock into Mara Summon. This summons 2 Mara-struck soldiers, and as long as they have that Rebirth passive, the boss gains lifesteal. This can be very annoying because it means the boss will be on the field for longer, making the clears take longer, so you want to try to get rid of their first lives as quickly as possible. Outside of turns 1 and 5, he's going to alternate between 2 attack sets. The first set is Thundershock into Thudding Calamity. These are both single target attacks, and Thudding Calamity deals massive damage, and if he has lifesteal up at this time, he's going to be healing for a pretty large chunk of HP. The other set of attacks, he's going to use Thundershock into Punishing Bolts. Punishing Bolts is a blast type ability, so it hits adjacent units, and again, if he has the lifesteal up, this is going to heal him for a pretty good chunk since he's hitting 3 units. So you can somewhat mitigate this by putting a taunting unit on the edge to reduce the amount of units he hits. But yeah, it's pretty simple. He just alternates between those 2 attacks and then has the one-time summons on turns 1 and 5. So, give Dan the buff and then give Herda the ultimate so that she can kill all the minions on her first turn.
Fighting is meaningless.
And Dan's just going to focus the boss this entire battle because he has the swordplay Lightcone.
Do you know who has this big diamond? It's all yours. Time to twirl.
So yeah, that is Herda's main shtick for this Memory of Chaos. She's really good against this boss because she can just kill those minions near instantaneously.
I've no interest in conflict.
We'll give Dan a shield here so that his passive can activate and he deals the most damage with his ult. Okay, and a crit as well, so that's pretty nice.
Fighting is
Welcome to the Try that again. You're annoying.
Okay. We'll use Marsh to just freeze that guy, and then Herda to freeze the other one. And then Dan can just continue focusing on the boss. We'll give him his buff again, and then he'll get that passive up for the next turn.
Try that again.
And actually, he's definitely going to be able to ult as well if needed.
Fighting is
Yeah, and it's definitely needed. Alright. So, this next fight is definitely the hardest one in this stage because there's a lot of damage, and we also have an elemental weakness here with Dan because the boss is wind resistance. So, let's quickly go over the Stormbringer's pattern. This boss has a 3-turn attack pattern, and on the first turn it uses Wind Walker. This deals minor wind damage to the target and units adjacent to the target with a chance to inflict wind shear. This is very important for the second attack, where it uses Wind Twisting Crossbow. When it uses this attack, it enters the charge state and locks onto all targets currently suffering from wind shear. So, for turn 2, the boss will cast Windfall Storm. This deals wind damage to all targets currently afflicted with wind shear, and this ability fails if no one suffers from wind shear. So it is possible to move a certain amount of times to get rid of the wind shear before the boss moves, or to cleanse it. So for turn 3, the boss casts 2 Watchful Meteors, which are a very annoying attack because it's a single target with a high chance of inflicting wind shear.
Wonders to rain.
So let's just replenish his ultimate here.
Gotta try hard
and also give him the buff for his passive.
We're in trouble now.
So, the far left enemy, the Everwinter Shadewalker, I'm gonna say is even more dangerous than the boss. So we're gonna quickly take that thing out.
Time to twirl.
Now let's give ourselves a shield since we're in the corner and it's just a good place to have a shield at.
Do you know who I... This big diamond! It's all yours! Time to twirl!
Okay. Decent damage through that. So yeah, it just does a lot of single target damage and also delays our actions. It's just a very, very annoying enemy, and I want to make sure that it's not a problem.
I've no interest in conflict.
Honored to meet me.
There we go.
My turn.
We'll have our 7th give him the shield, which has the dual benefit of cleansing as well as giving him his passive.
It's but a vision.
Gotta try hard. Watch this awesome move.
So yeah, this fight becomes a lot easier once you take out that left minion. I've tried doing it without taking it out, and it just becomes so much riskier that it's worth wasting an extra cycle on it.
What are you looking at?
So yeah, we don't have a lot of damage due to the wind damage down, but we do have a lot of time, so we're gonna use that to our advantage. Let's give Dan a buff here. Okay, pretty nice.
Welcome, customer. Yeah.
And with that, the ultimates are recharged.
Tough luck running into me.
We'll give ourselves a shield and wait for Dan's next turn before using his ult.
Can't run.
Too late to repent.
Actually, we'll just use it now. We don't want to waste the ult energy.
Time to twirl. 1,000 wonders to raid. Fight is one.
There we go, and he's gonna get his ult up pretty soon.
Fighting is the truth of life in this sanctuary.
So yeah, if you have the 5-star DPS Yanqing, he's gonna be the best option here, just as that single target ice elemental unit, because both bosses are weak to the ice, and he will just shred this boss and also be an amazing DPS for the other boss.
Tough luck.
But yeah,
You know who I...
that's pretty much all there is to the battle. The boss will either die to this or to damage over time. And another thing is, if you have Welt, he's another amazing unit here just because of the dual imaginary weakness. So that was the 3rd stage. Let's take a look at the 4th one. Quantum weaknesses. Now that's an annoying one. Yeah. And wind and physical. Okay. Yeah. Next stage is definitely going to be interesting. We haven't really fought most of these bosses in the last Memory of Chaos. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's quickly go over the substats and all that. I'm just going to quickly rush through these instead of going through a long-winded explanation on everything, just to show the stats and all that.